Hey, Facebook, and hey, YouTube, and all the other places and platforms that this audio will end up. I'm going to be very quick. I decided not to charge my phone because I'm supposed to take a day off and I've got like 20%. Okay, you already know what 20% means. That means plug it up, take a nap. But I want you to stop watching my timeline. Stop watching your notifications because I'm not going to go live. Just this little piece of audio, and it will let me do a quick invite. I don't even want to invite you into the audio because even if I invite you into the audio, then y'all gonna get me talking, and then I'm gonna plug it up and I'm gonna want to charge it. But I did want to come on and just tell you, listen, slow your scroll, go down the timeline a little bit so that you can see what's going on. I woke up this morning, was tagged in some stuff, and I gave my opinion on that, and I'm gonna let that stand. But there is so much going on, y'all. Listen, don't think that Monique hasn't greatly impacted Hollywood. I told y'all from now on going forward, anybody that's doing any kind of deal, that we live in public. It's going to be public. Everybody's going to try to have a good face because you as a consumer now, you're going to question everybody when they say they got a deal. We're going to be like, what kind of deal? But listen, there is a movement underfoot trying to make sure that Black Panther royally rolls into theaters. There's a lot of news, blues, fake news. Listen, you're going to have to do this. This is the audience accountability. Y'all need to start clicking some of these links. Don't just click share because the headline feeds into your own agenda or supports your belief. That's okay and that's cool, but there's a whole bunch of clickbait stuff going on. Make sure that you click through and check out, at least read a couple of paragraphs. Hell, you can hit Siri, Alexa, all of them places, Google. They'll read it for you if you don't want to read it and validate it. Okay, and I know there are some friends out there we trust. If it's on their timeline, it must be good, and it must be this, that, the other. But even we, those of us who are thoroughly involved in the trafficking of information on social media, we too make mistakes. I fix mine right quick so y'all don't see mine because I'm not about to be making all kind of errors. And people usually shocked if I say I did. And I usually have to tell them because you ain't going to see it. But anyway, that's not this ain't that post. See, I told y'all, don't get me started where I have to run over here and get this charger and plug this phone up. But listen, do keep an eye out on what's going on. Just some quick buzz. Do keep an eye out on what's going on with Black Panther. And there's a conversation of some things that happen. I'm not a comic follower, but apparently Ta-Nehisi Coates, very visual name right now. And I'm just plugging it up because I know I'm finna get deep. Not deep. We're going to chill. But Ta-Nehisi Coates, as well as a female, I'm trying to remember her name. Like I said, this ain't my lane. Even though I do go to Comic-Con and support some of those because that's where the buzz is at. But apparently, and I'm not trying to give you the gist of the story, but keep in mind that in anticipation that that Black Panther would be something that you would be proud consumer of, in the anticipation of that, they apparently tried to launch all these different layers that go along with a blockbuster movie, right? And they know, they only do a couple of movies a year that really get the black dollar, that really get you into the theaters. And they tried to, apparently do some stuff along with this, and apparently that stuff fell apart because as I have written this morning and published on medium.com, is that you have to, Black people just different. Black people are different consumers. Yeah, we got this buying power that y'all love to say we got, but y'all don't understand. It's an afterthought. It's the last layer of all of this. And what all of our creators are dealing with, beyond Monique, what a lot of them are dealing with is getting that upfront money, being able to anticipate the solicitation, or how you going to spend your money. And the fact that we as an audience only really come to the table at the end of the game, it just doesn't really help when it comes to negotiating, when it comes to getting that investment and getting those early dollars, listening to get this stuff started. Like say Zakiya, Zakiya's selling a whole lot of soap. But can Zakiya, and I'm going to always use her as an example, can she forecast, and this is another word, can she forecast what she's going to sell for the rest of the year. Can she sit down at the table? Somebody said, well, you had a boss a couple of years over there using social media to grow your business. Can she then say Valentine's Day is around the corner? Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation, Easter, because this is the conversation that's out there. Or must she always, like here a couple of days out from the Super Bowl, try to sell you a Super Bowl soap? Could Zakia have anticipated or forecast that the Eagles, or whether or not the Eagles was in it or not, could she have forecast doing a Super Bowl soap? So that's what happens. That's where we get lost in the risk of the game. We are a serious risk as consumers, because a lot of us, what we're dealing with is driven, a lot of how we consume, and that whole black buying power, support black business, spend black dollars, all those kind of things. A lot of that has to do with how something manipulates our emotion, whether or not it creates a level of status symbol, because there's a whole study out there about the black consumer and the status symbol. Somebody posted on Facebook this advertising video that was around in the 40s and the 50s about when they were after integration. Okay, here come all these black consumers forcing their money on us. Here's how to go ahead and take it. Here's how to go ahead and let black people in your store. Here's how to go ahead and triple, quadruple your bottom line by selling to black people. And that was, does it manipulate their emotion? We're emotional buyers. Is it a status symbol? Going to see a quote unquote being woke right now and going to see Black Panther, it's going to be a status symbol. When that movie opens, everybody's going to want to post their ticket. They're going to want to post their seats. They're going to be all up in their selfieing. They are going to be posting. It's just like some of us who post when we vote. Unfortunately, that's where we are as consumers. Everything that we buy is based on how does it position us with the status symbols, because that's how we judge and that's how we love each other. If she would have gotten her consulting hours with Yolanda, the answer exactly. But look, I still have my not for hire sign up. Okay, I'm still on hiatus, a kid. Don't be sending no clients my way yet. I'm still on hiatus. I'm easing back into it. I have not taken down a not for hire sign and put up my for hire sign. But although I am looking for the office space to bring back my consulting agency, or to go ahead and launch into a growth firm in marketing, because hell, I'm just good with it. But not for hire. Okay, I'm not for hire. Listen to the podcast. Watch the videos. Go over there to YouTube. And this is probably gonna crash. I don't know, because I'm on audio on Facebook. But one of the things is, and depending on where you are in this conversation, whether you are 60% consumers, you're going to get something out of it. If you're 30% creatives, you're definitely going to get something out of this, because this is a real conversation for creatives, right? And then there's the 10%, which are those who actually make that investment. There's that 10% who really, I would say 9% who make the investment. The 1% is the money they use, right? 1% put all the money in the game. Those are the people whose money we playing with out here, right? 60%, all that money y'all spending, it goes right to the 1%. And then it's like a trickle. It's like I can't even say it, trickle up, trickle down. Dr. Henry Carter can come back behind me with the finance of how all this works, because I surround myself with great scholars, okay? And them scholars be jumping in. They're like, okay, well, let me help DryerBuzz out with these numbers, because she gonna drop a little something, All right, so Dr. Henry, okay, what I'm trying to say is the money that the 60% spends in order to maintain their status in their social circles or mobs, that money, a portion of that early on in advance, needs to go to the creative, so that the creative can create. A creative cannot create unless they are invested in. They are then invested in by this top 10%, 9% of which is using money of the 1%, right? So what's happening with Monique, what's happening at Netflix? Netflix is saying they're going to spend $8 billion. Well, you already know Netflix ain't got $8 billion. It ain't Netflix money, okay? It's the 1%'s money that Netflix wants to go to the 1% and say, over the course of the next 12 months, we'd like to spend $8 billion. And this is the return you're going to see. Stop right there. There's a return on that $8 billion. And what they have said to Monique is, based on testing the waters, we don't find that the content is going to manipulate enough emotions or create a status symbol. Now, y'all done already proved to Netflix that Monique ain't the status symbol y'all trying to get. Y'all want that Tiffany hat. See, I be breaking this stuff down. Okay. Y'all have said, well, we watch Monique's special. We're not going to get the same status as if we watch a Tiffany Haddish special, right? Because you want to be influential in your circle, and therefore you've already let them know, because they were trying to test the waters, what they call the solicitation. Like, well, how many DVDs we're gonna say? If we do this special, it's gonna be on Netflix. We're gonna license that out, and then we got that crew that them cord cutters. They don't want to watch it on cable. They don't want to watch it on Netflix. They still want a DVD up in the department stores. So all of those equal. That's first quarter. See, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. First quarter, y'all went to the show. Monique has sold out shows, right? Okay. Second quarter, licensing. Let's get it on Netflix. Got to have distribution for that. Let's get it on Netflix. And then third was the DVDs, and then the fourth part of that is on television, right? So that's how this thing flowed. That's why it's real serious. Why Monique was like, all that for $500,000? Nah, boo-boo. I'm gonna need y'all to come a little bit better. And hopefully, and then what we end up hearing is that other people, they give them a deal over here, and then they like, well, wait a minute, where's my product going all this places, my name all over here? Like Tiffany Haddish said, people talking about my net worth, and I'm looking at my Google and my ranking and my mailbox and my bank account, and this thing ain't adding up. How long Girls Trip been out? How long that story been out? That she took Will Smith and Jada on a Groupon, and the Groupon commercial just now started running. They didn't even launch the Groupon commercial on Super Bowl Sunday. That Groupon commercial just popped on television, right? I'm like, Dad, they could have put it out there on the Super Bowl Sunday. Probably gonna roast. Hopefully, she got a good one for Super Bowl Sunday. I'm just saying, consumers, we got to start thinking about it like this. But creatives, and this is again more for consumers, audiences. Their fault is what they are. But to my creatives out there, you got to understand this is what we're dealing with. This is why we always have to operate behind the 8 ball, even though we're the best bet, even though we're the biggest, we give the biggest return on the risk and the gamble. What's happening is your audience out there, your following is messing up the game. They are telling your opponent what's in your hand. You can't even get your poker face on because these nutsos are behind you. She got the big joker. She got the spade. She got the ace of spades. She got the two of spade. They telling your hand. So creators, hashtag we live in public. You gotta get your negotiation skills up. You gotta get your game up. You gotta get it up. I'm just telling you, we gotta get this up because you already know where the audiences are. You already know how the audiences is thinking. We live in public. It's the whole big thing about the backlash, the branding, the reputations, the boycotts, all of this thing. And watch it, y'all. If you don't think, well, you already know I'm right, but I'm just saying, watch how it's playing out. Not necessarily with Monique, because Monique is the pioneer in this. She done kicked the door open. Monique done ran up on the wizard, y'all. She done ran up on the wizard. But guess what's still on the train tracks trying to roll through? And that is Black Panther. And there's a lot to be seen and said about what's going on with this production. They are entirely afraid that they can't get this movie out there fast enough before for the momentum dies down. Okay, they trying to get they got people going ahead of the train, keeping the debris off the track, keeping back the social mobs. They gonna make sure this film gets in there because this is a make or break for Hollywood. And I know you hear it every time there's a big black blockbuster movie. Everybody go see it on the first weekend or they'll never make another. Yes, they will. They've been making them for centuries and they come with the same thing. But it is all about how to get the movie made. Ain't nobody said, well, how they make this movie? What was the budget? How they get that money? I told y'all. I showed y'all a YouTube video I did with Marlon Wayans. Because everybody was like, Marlon, who you dating? Marlon, what's fun? And I'm like, Marlon, how you going? How do you get $1 million? How do you get your $1 million to make a movie? How do you get $1 million several $1,000,000 to make a movie because these people telling us they can't get no money. Marlon was like, you look, I got equity. I got 20 years in the game. Marlon got so serious with me, y'all. People were like, "What they talking about?" Because they was asking Marlon about all this other stuff. I'm like, "No, Marlon. How do you get those? How do you go to Hollywood and you get 3,000 screens?" Because Tyler Perry got to own the studio. He about to become a billionaire. His biggest complaint is they won't give him enough screens. So how do you go in there every time and you get 2,000-3,000 screens? Never mind 2-3, the budget you ask for. And then on top of that, you got amazing bankability, which Monique done explained the bankability to us. Let me check this thing out. Hey, Jason Hodge, you always say how pioneers are persecuted. Pioneers are persecuted, and that's what's happening right now. Hey, Edward. Edward is in filmmaking. He can vouch for some of this if they having this conversation. We're asking the real questions. I'm always asking the real questions. And that's why people are excited when I show up at these events because I got the question that can nobody else ask. But that's the conversation that needs to happen, and it's playing out, y'all. It's playing out. Everybody over there trying to get Monique to be quiet and stop asking for money. And in fact, one of my cohorts, and not even my cohorts, one of my journalist friends, because you know me, I love hanging out with journalists and scholars, put out an article this morning, and it said that Jackie Harry had put in her 2 cents. And I don't know, it's really originally what she said. I didn't even want to click the article and listen to it, but it was thrown out into the piranhas of Monique, and it said something about be quiet and get paid and this kind of thing. But let me tell you, and then no shade, no shots fired, but Jackie, she don't even like to talk about her previous characters. So I'm like, she ain't even in love with her IMBD, her previous work, and so that just goes to show, and now she's going to be on the Return of the Pains. When she sat right there and said, yeah, I'm getting ready to be on Return of the Pains, but I always wanted to be a serious actress. I always wanted to do, theater, Broadway, and all this kind of stuff. But yet, you're going to tell, I don't know if she said it or not, allegedly, according to the headline, because I didn't read no further, and we need to read further. I just told y'all to read further. But according to the headline thrown into the piranhas of the clickbait world, her idea is just keep getting paid. Now, mind you, I loved how some of them will do these movies. Like Taraji went out there and did Proud Mary. On the consumer side, the movie did not manipulate enough emotion. It did not give y'all didn't feel like that movie was going to give y'all any kind of power or status. People was confused as hell because they were trying to sell it as something like Tina Turner. Well, we thought Tina Turner wasn't fighting back, but here come Mary shooting up everything. So we couldn't work with that. You didn't manipulate my emotions on that enough, right? And so nobody really rushed out to see the Proud Mary movie. But as a creative, we knew that Taraji took that check because Taraji wants to have enough money to go and invest in this production she's trying to do about Emmett Till. Because again, that 60% audience... Okay, it looks like we're back. I was trying to get reconnected. Sorry about that. So we were talking about Taraji movie, Proud Mary. Did it manipulate enough emotions? No, because I ain't seen nobody post about it. I haven't seen like amazing conversation. People were kind of like odd about it. But it comes back to audio cutting out bad. Okay. Yeah, I think, let me know if I'm back. I don't want it to end. Okay, well, I think we're back. Okay, all right. I think we're back. I put back on the Wi-Fi. All right, so I say that to say that some of these actresses, yeah, they have to take these other roles. But we put them in that position based on who we are as a consumer. And I posted an article out there. Please go and check it out. Just a couple of thoughts, not an in-depth diatribe. And I know I said, don't look for me to be going live today. I wanted to just drop an audio. But I will be on Friday, as a follow-up, 24 hours. Let me say 24 hours after the live taping of this. I will appear on the radio, 2 interviews, and talking about some things that are trending right now. So definitely listen out for that. I'm going to be on a closer Closer Look with Rose Scott, who I saw in this post, on Friday at 1 p.m. She will air. Finish. Okay, it's not going to let me finish. I will be on A Closer Look. I'll put a link to that. And then also immediately after that, I'll be leaving one radio station, running to another, where I'll be a contributor on another show, Shop Talk with Shay, which is going to take Friday at 2 p.m. So Friday, after the day later, after this taping, I will appear on A Closer Look with Rose Scott. It's on WABE, where Atlanta meets NPR. And then I will leave there and I will go and be on Shop Talk with Shay, where I'm going to again espouse some of these opinions. But again, don't forget, our pioneers are persecuted. Our pioneers are persecuted. We are watching Monique be persecuted in this situation. She's gonna come out scot clean in this thing. I'm telling y'all. We did talk about the fact that they just really need to change up some of that language in her argument, because it adds a layer of what we deem to be somewhat unhealthy. And I think that's why people are responding or not responding to this situation the way they're supposed to be. Remember, I said it's all about manipulating the emotions, okay? Or giving people the status that they need. Status buying is what Black Americans do. That's why we are always, no matter what sector we're talking about, we're just a different consumer. We are a different consumer, and unfortunately, it's all about emotion and status. It has a lot to do with how we classify ourselves emotionally and far as its economic status, okay? And that puts us that 30% of us, which are creatives, in a unique position. And then at the same time, that 10%, the 9% that we deal with trying to get money from to continue to do what we do, and that 1% whose money makes the world go round. Now, where does the 1% get all? And this is the odd thing about it. Where does the 1% get all their money from? The 60%. Perception of status. Perception of status starts from what you're wearing, everything that you purchase. Everything that you purchase on the fact of how it's going to give you some status, how it's going to help you to fit in your circle by design, right? So the money that the 1% take to the bank comes from the 60%. The difference in between the two groups is mindset. Is absolutely mindset. That 60%, they get mad, they gonna get shots fired and shade you when you go out there trying to do a Kickstarter, a crowdsourcing, or GoFundMe. But you can't go to the 1% and get the money legitimately, because you don't know how the 60% is going to react to it. I mean, it's crazy. It's like it's arrested development. It's a serious case of arrested development. It's, again, mindset. You can't change the mindset of the 60%. You can't change the mindset of the 1%. The 9% is like, I feel you, and I see your value. The 9% over there right now, Monique, we understand. We know your worth. We know that you have been a value in this community. We know that you have been a pioneer and a woman doing, everyone said, well, she ain't Whoopi. Whoopi rose in a whole different circle. Whoopi rose in rise in an entirely different lane, circle than Monique. Monique has been first of all, Monique just down with the brown. Monique is down with the brown. I'm going to just say it like that. Monique is trying to put everybody on. She's trying to carry everybody with her. She had that talk show with that nightly dialogue. And you know how I feel about a woman having that monologue, right? But unfortunately, she tried to help everybody. And, we can't tell women, because women are nurturers. We can't tell women can't bring everybody with you, because that's what we do. We're going to always try to help somebody out. But then we also, at the same time, will be persecuted. And this dynamic, I mean, I almost want to, and I know it'll probably be insane if I go get my dry erase and I just really want to write this formula on the wall, but then I know that's the point at where you start cracking up, and I'm like, well, let me just turn on the Facebook audio. Maybe if I just get it all out of my head, I can go back and listen to it, or I can get it out there, and Dr. Henry Carter, my scholars out there, they'll take it and they'll put it in a white paper somewhere, and then 5 years later, y'all are reading and y'all will understand it. I just have to get it out my head. All right, guys. But just keep your eye out for what's going on with the Black Panther. I'm gonna tell you, you need to go get your tickets. You need to go get your tickets early, because there's a lot of people that are afraid that something's gonna happen and y'all ain't gonna roll in the theaters and see this movie. And so apparently it's pretty good. apparently, friend, and shout out to Kiki, an Atlanta blogger. She got a chance to go on the royal trip to California for the royal premiere. Look, they call it royal everything because they got to manipulate your emotions. They got to create this movie as a status symbol for you because that's really the only way you're going to see it. And by going and see this movie, unfortunately, they were planning to launch a comic strip line, a comic book series with it. That unfortunately failed. I think I was trying to say that earlier. So you're going to see the names of Ta-Nehisi Coates drop with that, and this female, and I feel bad because I think something Ray, I don't even know what her name was, but she tweeted that she wasn't invited to the red carpet. And of course, the social mob tried to roll it. Oh, you mean the Black Panther ain't invite the writer? But apparently, she was part of a writer series where they wanted to do an auxiliary product to this movie. Because I mean, think about it. Once this movie comes out, from all those conventions and things like that, there will now be a panel, probably one of the largest panels at these conventions. Think about it. Black Panther cast at Comic-Con, that's a whole lot of black people registering for that convention. Not only Comic-Con, MomoCon, DragonCon, all of those conventions will now have a Black Panther panel, not to mention selling they won't be selling the comic books because y'all didn't, black folk, that ain't what, that apparently y'all didn't pre-order that enough. And so by not understanding the cost of these things, by not understanding the auxiliary products of these things, you've already cost some people opportunities and jobs, right? These writers are not out there, writers, animators, illustrators, they are not working on this comic book line, right? Because they couldn't gauge our emotions enough. You just can't. We are not that segment of buyers, that segment of consumers that you can forecast. They can't forecast us. And unfortunately, that puts the creative in a predicament in the orders of release that will make the dollars. Exactly. That puts the creatives in the predicament right along with Monique. So now you got Monique, you got Ta-Nehisi Coates, and Ta-Nehisi got all kind of books out there. His end game, he want to be the most prolific writer out there, but you can't forecast us, and that has been the biggest problem that we have in business, is being able to forecast how we're going to spend our dollars, not just after the fact, after somebody has had to launch an emotional marketing campaign. And me being a blogger for 16 years, I'm one of the first ones they call. Can you help us tell this story? Can you help us do this? Can you help us do that? And it always has. Every time they want to, it's when it comes to Hollywood, because they know how I feel about Paul Robeson and others, August Wilson and others, and Eartha Kitt and Ruby Dee, and how connected I was to those people and how they put a charge in me to be in this conversation. So these major publishing companies, houses, Sony and all of them, they like, what DryerBuzz thinking on this? What anybody call DryerBuzz? And they're like, well, she on a 3-year hiatus. They like, oh, damn, the bottom line. When she coming back? Can we check on her and see when she blogging again? Well, she went to a theater show the other day, so she might be back. So go ahead and email her and see if we can get. I'm like, I'm still the not for hire sign. I'm sorry, she still has her not for hire sign up. She said she's taking another year off. Yes, she's only 3 year into the 5-year plan of semi-retiring, so she still has a not for hire, so no consultant right now. But can we get somebody to interpret her tweets? Can we get somebody to interpret the tweets to see what she's saying and see which direction she's going on this? Can we get a couple of the journalists who used to have a good relationship with her to inbox her and see what she's feeling on some of this stuff? Well, she Team Monique. Oh, damn. Okay. So I'm just saying, it is what it is. I'm coming back. I'm going to take down the not for hire sign at some point. Catch me tomorrow. Catch me 24 hours after the look at the date of this post. 24 hours. If you missed it, go and binge on Buzz. 24 hours of the date of this post, I'm going to hit. As a matter of fact, I will be hitting Atlanta Radio, contributing to 2 shows. Just left one 24 hours before this post. So check the date and see when you got the Buzz. If you missed any of it, just go look on the timeline and binge on Buzz. And let's get ready, y'all. Let's get ready. And listen, it's Super Bowl Sunday. You can't even tell it's Super Bowl Sunday. Somebody please let me know. Does anybody know that DryerBuzz don't even know when the Black Panther movie is in theaters? Does anybody know that she don't even know that? It's Thursday night? Or people going Super Bowl weekend? When is the movie in theaters? Because they had the California premiere, and DryerBuzz is not paying enough attention to the Black Panther. Can we make sure she knows when the movie is being released? Because she don't even have a clue. Okay, I really don't. Because sci-fi comics, that's not my lane. I like memoirs and documentaries. Okay. I like memoirs and documentaries. And this one, I done already tweeted Monique. I told Monique and Netflix, I'm like, y'all need to forget the comedy special. Monique is sitting over there on the biggest, best docudrama or ever. All right. The question now is who's going to play Monique? Is Monique going to play herself? Can somebody find out, is Monique going to play herself in the movie? I need to know who's going to play Will Packer. Who's going to play, please, who's going to play Lee Daniels? Do we know who's going to play Lee Daniels? Is he going to play himself? Are they all going to play themselves? Because clearly, but the biggest question, can we check with the 1% who's going to distribute the movie? Because all of these black folk around here fighting each other, and neither one of them can distribute a movie. Can we find out? Will Smith is now putting out Instagrams every day, and I know he had a distribution company that he tried to do with Blair Underwood and the rest of them. See if they're distributing any movies yet. Because Will had to go to Netflix himself, and Netflix done told Will, listen, we put that series out there, and didn't nobody watch it, and black people didn't come to it after the fact. So can we get Will Smith to go get A.A. Ron from Australia and let them go do an Instagram channel and then try to get his subscribers up on YouTube? Oh, he had 100,000 now. 200,000. I think he's at 200,000 subscribers now. So, can we get Will Smith? Will Smith is on Instagram now. When Will Smith came to Instagram, I'm like, damn, that means I can't. That when Oprah and Whoopi and Will Smith is on social media, that means I clearly can't retire. That's why I'm over here trying to take the day off and doing a live. I was gonna be on here for 2 minutes, so I'm like, if Will Smith is creating Instagram, Will Smith done went to 5 countries doing an Instagram. Clearly, I got to do an audio, even though I don't even want to get dressed. I'm just doing an audio, but Will probably done drop about 2 Instagram while I'm sitting here. Okay, I'm just saying, Jason Hodge, Monica, Elaine. Hey, Elaine. 217 in New York State. It coming out. Huh? The movie coming out on the 17th after the Super Bowl. So they didn't want to come out Super Bowl weekend. Anything can happen in 2 weeks. Bless their heart. Y'all, somebody light a candle for Black Panther. They got 2 more weeks. They're not coming out to the 17th. They're not coming out to after Super Bowl. And they no telling how black folk gonna be in their feelings after Super Bowl. They done already put out the narrative that black people have stopped. They had Roger Goodell make a statement the other day, and he said Roger Goodell done dropped the hashtag from protest to progress. So they feel like that has squashed the matter with Black Lives Matter. Okay, Roger Goodell is now tweeting from protest to progress so that black people will watch the Super Bowl. And not protest the girl that's gonna be singing the national anthem. She done already tweeted, who's singing the national anthem? Is it Pink? Oh, Justin Timberlake is gonna be doing the halftime. We don't know if Janet Jackson's gonna make an appearance yet or not. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. This thing is deep, y'all. I'm telling y'all. These 60% consumers that's gonna have folks becoming slaves again. Y'all better watch them because they gonna get us deep in it. All right, I'm just saying. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and people think that this stuff doesn't have it in. When you have the football commissioner, okay, trying to drop a hashtag to settle down the emotions of black consumers because we ain't hyped all up in football. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing, they know their bottom line was hit. They know their bottom line was hit this year, and they are now after Super Bowl. It's gonna be watch what happens with the NFL. NFL has an entire year. They were talking about the entire year calendar. Football season does not end. They are doing some things over there, and I'm trying to get in that sports arena, so I've been keeping an eye over that going on over there as well. This thing is deep. This thing is deep. But what did I say? Who did I say was in the boat with Monique? Somebody else was in the boat with Monique. Let's see. I was just thinking about Janet Jackson Timberlake deal. Yeah, yeah. He gonna have to, whether she steps on that stage with him or not. And there's no way he would be able to get through those entire minutes without some form or some kind of signal that he could. Okay, so you never know. You absolutely never know. Let's see. We need to be able to forecast as a market because you need the lead time to get the products out, and that's what happened. Monica makes a great point. They tried to forecast, and they were going, and the little snippet that I posted from that article where they literally just talked about 3 months, Monica. Within 3 months, they tried to test, and see, we did this thing with Barack Obama too. Literally about 30 days out before Barack Obama made his announcement, not even 90 days out, 30 days out before Barack Obama made his announcement of running for president. A lot of people didn't even know who the hell he was. So 3 months in the lead time of working on this movie and trying to anticipate, forecast, solicitate whether or not they could have a comic strip. See, their hope was you would be out there right now buying the comic strip in anticipation of the movie. And unfortunately, the comic strip failed. Which means they did have to scrap the writing, fire the writers, disband the fact that there was going to be this wonderful arm to Marvel's comics, and because they couldn't forecast it. But and Jason Hodge knows more about this forecasting as a media planner, but they forecast with the wrong premise. Exactly. They missed it. They put our feelers, they put out feelers with no back end attached. And like I said, because we are a different consumer, we are a different consumer. And you got to anticipate how to manipulate the emotions. You got to anticipate what it means as a status symbol. Collecting comics, that's a status symbol. That's a status symbol in a group. Just like buying an iPhone over an Android. Most creators buy iPhones because of the tools that you end up with in order to be a creative. So, you gotta understand that. And then, Jason, we know always that they don't go to the right people. Because if they went to the right people with the right money, they would know all of this. Because it's a science just like anything else. It is a science, but it is an internal science. And unfortunately, they let a few people in, they get a few people to the table, but they themselves don't understand the science because they're not trying to be black. They might look black, they might be our skin folk, but they're not trying to be. They should have put the comic as a natural progression of the movie. Where they tried to forecast the comic just like they forecast everything else. It was their intent to do that, but see, it's an afterthought. It's not a pre-thought. They looked at it as a pre-thought, not an afterthought. And they might revisit that. They may come back to it, But guess what? If they don't, why not somebody else? Why hasn't somebody else? I went to the comic conventions this last year, and I purchased. As a matter of fact, I saw a Facebook ad of one of the comics that I bought for my son to add to whatever collection he has going on, and I saw a ad that they were using to grow their reach through this Black Panther. The fact that Black Panther does not have one, they decided, well, hey, listen, we're over here. Here we are. If you love that, come over here. But what happens is one of the reasons that the parallel in this doesn't work is because the parallel doesn't satisfy, again, the status. The parallel there's opportunity, but the opportunity has to meet the demand for the status symbol. And that's why it's hard to say, well, if they like, because we see this all the time. Well, if they like that, why don't they like this? It's about the status. You got to have the same status. We'll like this or that, and we'll like this and that if it gives me the same status. But come on. Remember, you back in the day, you wanted some Converse, and your mom came home with what looked like Converse. And you like, that's not the same status. It's not the same status attached to that. Well, you be different. Well, we don't want to be different. We want to be monolithic. That's the problem. It's like cooking things in the wrong order. Yeah. They have all the ingredients but don't know how to make the dish pop. Exactly. Because my way of doing it, Jason, would have been to put all that stuff in the pot at the same time and then be like, well, why this don't taste like the sauce in a jar? And of course, my other daughter yesterday had to agree, okay, the sauce is better than the jar. Oh, Jason Hodge, daughter tweeted me yesterday. Daughter texted me yesterday. Well, when you get home, we made some spaghetti. She said, and I didn't even answer because I was in my feelings. I'm like, oh, so she's like, well, you had that jar of sauce there, so I told her today, I said, no, I didn't want none of your petty spaghetti. When I made that, she's like, I said, but you got to admit my sauce was better. She was like, yeah, your sauce was better. My sauce. So apparently they ate the jar sauce. They ate the jar sauce yesterday, Jason, and realized that my sauce was better. But she was like, well, I was going to use your sauce, but you only had a little bit left, and I didn't want to use it up, and you come home and not have it. Hey, Gene Ambrose. All right, guys, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. There's nowhere to go but to reiterate or to repeat myself, and I don't want to have to do that. And we don't know what Facebook is going to do with this audio, and I would love to have it to put it on other platforms. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. I am taking, look, petty spaghetti, right. I am taking the rest of the day off, but do keep an eye out on things that's going on. And tag me. And I know, right? Tag me, and I will comment, but keep an eye on what's going on. In fact, listen, go over there now and look at Monique's timeline. There's some interesting things. There's some more people getting caught up in this game. And don't forget, 24 hours after this post, I'm going to be on radio, not one station, but two, and I will share those links as well. If you miss any of the buzz, you can always binge on buzz with the hashtag DryerBuzz. Thanks, guys. Ta-ta for now.